This is Johnston and building a Wildcard OSPF network where we'll start from scratch and put a router or switch, a couple PCs together on two different networks, and then we will go ahead and basically put passwords and everything else that you would need on a basic network. So basically we're creating this network right here. Now let's go ahead and start creating it, and let's put an end device on there. We could just put a couple PCs, and then we're going to put a switch on there, which we want, it says right here 2960-24TT. We got that one right there. And then we'll put a router in there, a 2621XM router. And let's see here, we need routers. We got one there. And our second router. Go ahead and put our second switch in there. It's going to be our 2960-24TT. Shows right there. And then we're going to put some end devices again. And you can just put laptops or desktops. I'm just going to put desktops. And then we're going to have to connect everything together, and we'll go ahead and actually label our network, and from there we can basically put this together pretty easily. So let's go ahead and get this all connected together. So first things first, we can so one of the first things we want to do is we want to hook up everything. But what I want to do before I do all that is I want to make sure we have everything we need. So we need a serial port here, and we need to turn off the routers in order to put it in there. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to, since we turned them off, is we're going to put a WIC 2T in there so we have a serial connection. And we can turn it right back on. And we'll do the same thing for this one. Put a WIC 2T in there and turn it back on. And now we can put a serial DCE between the two, which will put serial 0/0 to serial 0/0 between the routers. And then we're going to put a straight through cable from our router for fast Ethernet 0/0 to the switch fast Ethernet 0/1. You could even do the gigabit, but we'll just do the fast Ethernet 0/1 for now. And then I'll hook the computer here up to the switch to the next port. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. And there we go. And now we'll have to go ahead and label our network. So we have all the ranges right here of what we're going to be doing, so we'll go ahead and label it right now. And what you want to do is you probably want to give yourself a little extra room to label everything. There we go, we should have plenty of room. Put some labels in here. And actually I kind of like to do it like this, a little easier. There we go. Now we'll put a label on each one of the components. And if you look at our routers, one of the first things we might want to do, because this is actually labeled as router 1, we'll rename them. just name this one router 2 first, and then name that one router 1. And we'll name this one switch 1. We'll make this one switch 2, I guess, first, and then we'll make this one switch 1. And then we'll go ahead and label everything. Alright, now everything is labeled, so now let's go ahead and get in here and configure our device. And we don't want to do dialog, so the first thing is we're going to have to get into it. So first we have to use en for enable, and then we're going to enable a password. So our password will be Cisco. And see, the reason why it didn't work is we didn't do conf t here. Now let's try that. So there we go. And then we can make a clear text password. So if someone does basically show run, it'll show the Cisco 1 in there. And then we press end. And then we're going to do our copy, run, start. So we're going to save everything. And then if I hit this exit, now it's going to ask for a password. And your password is going to be Cisco 1. And now we want to go ahead and we're going to secure all the interfaces on our Cisco router. So let's go ahead and do conf t, or configure terminal, and we're going to type in line console 0. And this will secure a console port that you use directly on the router. And we're going to put a password on that. So that's all done for that one. Then we're going to exit. And then we're going to go to line variable type. So the variable type would be 04, which is for the virtual interface. We're going to put a password on that. And this is for the auxiliary interface, so we're going to secure that one too. And we're going to put the same password, and you have to be careful of password typing in these because it gets set. And that's going to be our login password. That's why we put login in there. And then go ahead and save it. Their copy, run, start. Then the next step you want to do is you want to do conf t, and we're going to do a no IP domain lookup command. Basically what that does is if you misspell something, it's not going to take forever to try to look up a domain IP. So it actually will help save some time. There we go. You can also type the right command after you copy, run, start at least once. And then we'll go on to our next part here. Now let's go ahead and configure the interfaces. So now we need to do the router 1 Ethernet interface. And let's go ahead and do FA. And on the actual router, you never really want to write the FA, you just want to write the fast Ethernet or the gigabit Ethernet. And you can press tab so it automatically types it in there for you. And now we're in the fast Ethernet 0/0, which we're going to put the IP address in there, which is going to be 10.10.0.1. The subnet mask of 255.255.128.0. And then you're going to want to have to save that, so you're going to do no shut. And then we'll be off to our next port, which be our serial port. So you do interface serial 0/0. And on that one, it's going to be 10.10.192.1 with subnet mask of 255.255.255.252. This is the one that connects the two routers together. Oh, and I forgot to put the IP address command in there. It should be 10.10.192.1 subnet mask of 255.255.255.252. Do another no shut to save that. And then you probably want to do a copy run start, save it, or you can use the right command. And now our router's configured, at least for the ports. So the next step, and now the next step you want to do is you're going to want to do your basic IP route. So every packet that goes through, this will be the default route for them. In our case, we're in router 1, so you want to send it to routers 2 serial port, which that port would be 10.10.182.2. And you can go ahead and you can save this. You can use the right command, and that one I guess can't use the no shut command for IP route. So the right command will save that configuration, and now we're off to our DHCP services pool that we'll be creating. So we'll use configure terminal there, and then we're going to do IP DHCP pool. And in this case, we're going to be going between 10.10.127.0 will be basically our pool, and we need a space right here. And then in this pool, we're going to be putting a network right here. So our network will be 10.10.0.0, because that's the whole network